Don't worry, it's just 15,000 words. So, dear professors, distinguished guests, and my fellow students, today's speech theme will be on gratitude and thanks, not just only to our families, but also to our esteemed professors. So I shall narrate this message of thanks semester by semester as I go through. My journey recently started around 2 years ago, and it was quite a fun trip, I would say. And when I was younger, I never thought much about studying. I never put much thought about it, and as a subsequent, I still have to study until I'm 40 now. So, yes. So, PK has been instrumental in, my He has been instrumental in encouraging me to take up this course, and all along the way she had offered words of encouragement, helped me little by little here and there, and especially when it's near assignment passing updates, we would always bug her, can we get extensions, and can we pass up later on. I still remember, we have our own WhatsApp group, and we had asked her a lot of silly questions. And people say there are no silly questions, but that's not true. There actually are. So we also disturb her on weekends, and sometimes up to, she's still replying the WhatsApp group until 1 a.m. So I would really, hope that we can give her applause again. She definitely has made my life, and I'm pretty sure she has touched a lot of lives initially. Okay, so now the serious stuff. Actually not so serious. It's the honeymoon months, the first semester where we had actually marketing management and managing and leading people. That's the long term for HR. So it was fun because our marketing lecturer, Mr. Mark Hui, gave us a lot of living examples to elucidate those marketing terms. Those terms that is too hard for us to understand. And one of the things I remember until today was that he taught us marketing, there's no such thing as cost. Marketing is only about opportunity. And that's why every marketing department does not recognize this term cost. It's always an opportunity. I also understand better now that in one of my previous jobs, why people lay off other departments while they still keep on hiring marketeers. Then move on to Mr. Goh. Mr. Goh was our leading and managing people lecturer. He taught us how to match employees' crave for and towards appropriate rewards. He also taught us that through Maslow's theory and how to use it to incentivize not just colleagues but with anyone we deal with. For example, how offering self-actualization rewards such as the satisfaction of philanthropy will not entice people who have physiological needs, such as food, clothes, and shelter. In the same way, on the other end of the spectrum, high-performing workers who aspire for self-satisfaction in their jobs may not necessarily respond to monetary offers and might actually leave the company even if you give them a financial raise if they are not satisfied. These are really eye-opener subjects that pique my interest and in this MBA program, and actually raise my expectation even more for the subjects that are to come. On my second semester, we had financial management and operations management. I had never been good with finance even during my diploma days. As a matter of fact, I had never been good with numbers. So Dr. Segaran was able to make a boring subject for me to be an interesting one, teaching us accounting ratios, cash flows, and how to decipher if a company is in a viable state by looking at its yearly financial statements. Understanding this, I had a ton of fun taking this otherwise imposing subject. Then we have Dr. Koh for operations management. Although we started off slow, but we found out that he's actually a very helpful lecturer and will explain in detail everything that we ask him. And we as students at times we have to have this spirit of inquisitive, to always ask questions. Sometimes a lecturer might be very strict, but if you were to ask him questions, even a strict lecturer would be able to help. We just need to know how to ask the right questions. Then the third semester came. Third semester was the dreaded semester. Actually, this has been the dreaded semester since the first semester. Why? Because as the older students, so-called, our memory has somewhat diminished compared to in our younger days, in our teens, and what we fear most at this juncture was exams, memorizing stuff for exams. And that's what exactly we have, information management. We were wondering if we could ever pass the exam, as we saw the numerous formulas that needed to be memorized, but were so jovially and effortlessly written out by Mr. Moy on the whiteboard. He seems to relish writing lengthy formulas on the board without ever referring to anything. Single tail, double tail, ANOVA table, t-test, chi-squared, z-test, whatever test you have, some of the things that he wrote on the whiteboard. And we will always relish those moments as we try to hurry copy the notes. He writes too fast anyway. It also built the foundation for my chapter 3 and chapter 4 in my thesis later on. Just to share with you a trivial fact. My notes from information management subject alone exceeds the combined notes of all the other 7 classes added together. That's how much formulas you have to memorize. Then of course we have project management as our second subject of the semester. Mr. Kumar is one of the most pleasant lecturers that we have. He is always smiling. His enthusiasm in teaching project management makes us all enjoy a rather technical class that thematically based on critical path. Another semester has come and gone, and we all passed, and some of us even scored distinction in information management. I think you guys know who you are. Now we are faced with international business studies and global corporate strategy. What differs from those two subjects are the one that concentrates on making money now, and the other ways and strategies for more opportune times to make money. So both also make money. Dr. Siva is one of those lecturers that promotes critical thinking. I remember I had much fun discussing, some people say arguing, with him in the class. And quite often we had to come to the state of agree to disagree. We had a discourse on Ducati case study and I totally enjoyed it. I also later found out that both of us worked in Intel at one time or another, and our critical approach towards learning are the same. Also, we had a good scenery during that class. We had good scenery and we had a sea view as well. Then, as for the second subject, we once again had the pleasant Mr. Kumar as a lecturer. On the 5th semester, I had Mr. Balu as my thesis lecturer. I remember we constructively argued about many points, such as can I create my own questionnaire or to write a deductive or inductive thesis. Mr. Balu and my mindset initially differs tremendously, as he has an academic perspective whilst I carry on my perspective opinion into his class. I had to adjust and wear a different hat when I go into his class. I have to wear an academic hat basically in order to learn better what he teaches us. I have to admit that it's not easy at the beginning. Then finally, I had Mr. Krishna as my supervisor for my thesis. Mr. Krishna. I had a hard time selecting the topic for my thesis. That's the truth. My instinct taught me to select a topic that is as close as possible mirroring my job. At first it seemed like a good idea. However, as I started writing my proposal, I find that they were not appropriate for academic discourse. I did 6 proposals in total, and I wrote around 30,000 words already before I even started my thesis. So I kind of had some setbacks. It's not easy, but I learned a lot. I learned a lot because every time when my proposal was rejected, I had to go back to the drawing board. I had to read many more journals to make sure that the next time I propose, I can't even say propose, but the next time I write my proposal, it would be a valid proposal. So I had a taste of disappointment, but I learned a lot. Under the tutelage of Mr. Krishna, I was able to choose the topic that I could write best, and with his help, I managed to score. I did remember when we first met, I told him that I wanted to score a distinction, and that time was not a problem. Since I'm doing this MBA full-time basis. He candidly replied, "Good, that's what I want in my student. I not accept you if you weren't aiming for a distinction." All in all, we met quite a number of times to discuss, and on those times, he concentrated on giving me valuable feedback that would improve the quality of my thesis. Time and again, he would often play the devil's advocate and challenge my thesis until I finally wrote a bulletproof thesis and was able to prove the feasibility of my theoretical framework with a 97.9% validity. Not to be contented with this, even 97.9% was not good enough for him. So he asked me, do you think you would want to write a section in chapter 5 of the thesis with regards to the other 2.1%? Okay, so I said, yeah, that'll be good. And true enough, further reading on the subject made me learn that there are more factors that could affect my theoretical framework's feasibility. Looking back, I had a blast of time doing my thesis under the guidance of Mr. Krishna. And here, I wish to thank him sincerely and wholeheartedly for guiding me the way he did. He's truly an amazing tutor. Any student who wants to score distinction, look for him. There are other people I wish to thank for this achievement, and I'd like to thank my family, my parents, who are seated, I think just in front here, my loving wife, Alisa, and our little son, Jaden. They are all very supportive of my studies. And I'm really lucky to have their understanding when I was busy preparing for my projects and exams. I remember during my IM days where I had to sit down at home revising and doing past year questions. My wife took my son to my in-laws' house so that I could have a quiet environment to do my revisions. I really thank her for this understanding. I also love to thank Jesus, and I thank him, and I dedicate this MBA to him. Finally, I'd like to thank Sergi and Sunderland for having such a wonderful program that caters to us, the so-called older students. I learned a lot here, and I definitely have a broader view of the world and how it revolves around. Thank you. Finally, I'd like to urge all graduating students to remember these wonderful years and to never stop learning. Lifelong learning. God bless.